Like I said, the theme of the show is the Elon Musk story about, where is it? Let's just power up into it, Pedro. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. The story of the day is this, what I have on the screen right now. Elon tried. He tried, Pedro. He tried valiantly. He tried. We spoke a little bit about this yesterday. The man actually sacrificed not only a whole bunch of Cybertrucks and Tesla cars, he sacrificed $100 billion. He lost almost as much in value as personal wealth as he saved the U.S. government in the Doge process, which is kind of agreed upon to be close to $200 billion right now. It likely will go up a little over time, but not after this new congressional spending bill kind of comes out. For those of you that I'm sure many of you know, in the U.S. we have what's called omnibus bill authority, in which the Congress can pass a giant bill with all kinds of stuff in it. Just whatever they can put the kitchen sink in it. What's that?
I thought that was supposed to get kicked off because of the Chevron act that was passed.
When Matt Gaetz and crew forced Mike McCarthy out as speaker, that was one of the things they said. We want single issue bills. And then Mike Johnson said, yes, single issue bills. It turns out single issue bill for Mike Johnson is everything. Well, it's all related to the budget. It's budget oriented, so it's single issue. And they're like, no, single issue means we have a vote for each thing. Yeah. Obviously, you can't do that for the U.S. government. You have to combine some things, but this one's crazy.
Dude, this. Go ahead, keep going.
It's actually batshit crazy. The amount of money we're spending here, and you hear Pedro and I, we go on a lot talking about the national debt. First of all, the deficit each year, the budget deficit, how much we're short each year, and then the national deficit. And then we hear people in the government, especially the previous administration with Janet Yellen, testifying in front of whoever wanted to listen to her, that everything was fine. It was like the Biden administration when they said, there's no problem at the border. Everything's fine. It's going according to plan. And it's a complete dumpster fire. And Janet Yellen did the same thing. There's interviews out here, her testifying, oh, everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, the amount of debt is no problem. Oh, yeah, the fact that we're spending $5 trillion a year on interest or whatever the number is, yeah, that's no big deal. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. Well, it turns out it is a problem. It's depreciating our dollar a lot. It's one of the reasons that our dollar's depreciating. And Pedro, if you recall from our conversation yesterday, I talked about how people that have pensions, you guys listen over here on Rumble, if you have a pension or a 401k plan, unless your 401k plan is making more than the S&P 500 and more than inflation, as long as your retirement plan is making more than inflation, then you're getting ahead in life. If not, you're losing money. Literally losing money. If inflation's at 7.5% and the average return on the S&P for that year is 3.8, you've lost 3.5% of the dollars, as if you took 3% out of your retirement fund and burned it. Just burned it. It's no different. Yeah, it's no different. You lost your buying power and you lost value. You think, oh, it's up. The statement says more.
Literally
I'm up.
Stealing from you. They're literally stealing from you.
They're 100% literally taking your money because they know it devalues the currency. It's not like they were like, there's a lot of government policies where many years down the road, they're like, oops, we didn't see that. Let's fix it. They know when they run the money printer, it takes wealth away from you. And why?
You.
Right, you.
Me.
You.
Him, right there.
And it's a big deal. And it's complicated. It's complicated economics and government policy, but you don't have to worry about that. It's because you got Pedro and I here telling you what it is. But you don't have to tell us. You can read your own. You can ask Grok. You can whatever. The point is when they print money, you lose money. And if you're on a salary, like here, let's a good example. I was just reading a thing about the Chicago Plumbers Union, whatever the union the plumbers are in Chicago. They were getting a cost of living adjustment or a raise or whatever it was in their contract of 2.5%, and that they finally agreed to it. Inflation inflation the past year has run around between 5 and 7%. So they got a 2.5% raise, but they actually lost almost 4%. 3 to 4%. They actually are getting paid less this year than last year, even though they won a contract increase. And that is because the guys in Washington pressed the print button. Now, Pedro, I'm going to go on about this. I could go on forever, and I need to, but I'm going to ask a succinct question here. Why do the politicians keep doing it when they know it's wrong?
Well, because they can't let... Yeah, they can't allow old ladies, and this is how it's painted, old ladies and orphans to starve in the streets. And so they have to feed them.
That's true, but that's not $37 trillion or whatever. They have to do that because they see no other way to get reelected.
This is what I'm trying to say, is they will get painted to look like as if they are like you voted against this bill which was going to feed XYZ, and then all of a sudden you now look like the evil man who stopped your kids from eating, in a sense, and that's the evil man who caused it. And so their opponent will sing the horrible atrocities to you guys, not telling the full truth.
Right.
Like he's actually trying to make sure that your paycheck doesn't get eaten by inflation.
Well, the problem really boils down to what's going on here, where we are. We are broadcasting today on Rumble, on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and stuff like that. But it's really with the cable news channels and the internet that focus on the bad news. And they focus, like, as soon as someone votes against anything or does anything, even sorta like not awesome, doesn't have to be bad, it just has to be not awesome. The news channels run, Representative Hurley, he hates babies, diapers are gonna go up because of his tax policy or whatever like that. So he hates babies. And for some reason, that resonates with people that vote. They're like, he hates babies, so I'm not going to do that. And so politicians spend all of their time trying to get reelected. And in the old days, it didn't cost that much to get elected. You could spend, just people in your district would raise money and elect who they wanted. And if there was a competition, maybe a little outside money would come in here and there. But now, millions, like when Ted Cruz's seat was up in Texas, was it $500 million were poured in by both sides in there? The money is big. That was for a Senate seat. The one House of Representatives seat, was it Matt Gaetz' old seat or something like that? I can't remember what it was. Maybe someone can let us know. It was massive, the amount of money they put in. For someone that holds a seat for 2 years, they had to raise an average of $250,000 a day. A day. And so just to retain their office in these districts that aren't super, like in Oklahoma, you don't have to do that because everyone's going to vote red no matter what. But in a lot of these districts, like in Florida, where it could go either way, they spend so much money. And thus what it leads to is it leads to politicians not wanting to create any bad news. And any chance they can get, they appease their electorate. They bring in the pork. They try to more programs, more spending, so they can come on and say, look what I did. And people go, yeah, good guy, we're going to get him for that. And that's especially big in the tax breaks right now. I wish I had spent some time making graphics. But the tax breaks, we talked about this yesterday. Capital expenditures in the U.S. are low right now, temporarily while we wait to see how this tariff thing works out. A lot of companies buy machinery from overseas now. And because it's made in China, it's made in Asia. A lot of complicated machinery, including semiconductors, including the entire paper industry. All their machinery is made in Europe. So are there big taxes on? You buy a $20 million machine. Is there 25% tax on that now? Also, when you bring that over and install it, the government allows people to depreciate the entire amount in the first year. If that machine may be around with your company for 50 years, you can depreciate the entire amount in the first year. That's something like, I was just going over the numbers for it. It's something like $40 billion or something like that, just in that one tax, things like that. I mean, I'm not going to go into a list of things because I know nobody here wants to do a list of things, but I really want to point out that these are all tax breaks to appease a lot of people. Now, the question is, Mr. Trump won with a big victory. In every demographic, our sister show, the Crypto Swamp Creatures, Justin Wallen is a pollster. He does the polling for these things. He was on our show saying, look, the Democrats are going to lose because the Hispanics are voting like crazy for Trump. And nobody believed him, and he was right. He called the election before everyone else. On this channel, I might add, ladies and gentlemen. And in every demographic, it turned out went up a lot. Mr. Trump, no doubt, did very well. The House of Representatives did well. They got a larger majority. The Senate, they took control of the Senate. But they didn't take 60 seats in the Senate. And that one rule that we have, that filibuster rule that allows any member of the Senate to stop whatever bill they want and without having to name their name, and it takes 60 votes to override it, causes trillions of dollars of debt because the majority party can't do what they want. Now, if you're in the minority party, you're like, we don't want the majority party to do it. We do what they want. We like this check and balance. I get that. But in this case, the U.S. Congress had to give away an extra $3.7 trillion in pork and spending programs to get the 60 votes needed in the Senate to pass it. Now think of that, $3.7 trillion over 10 years. That's, $370 billion a year. That's a lot of money. Arguably, people are saying, well, we're going to make that up in tariffs. But each tariff deal that gets cut, that number comes down. And soon it'll be back to just normal, the normal, after they make tons of deals. Maybe we'll get more. Nobody knows. The Office of Budget and Management said that that's a number that they can't actually figure out, so they don't know what its effect is going to be. And so, before I kind of bring it up to general commentary, I bring this back to poor Elon. Now, poor Elon, you're like, well, the guy's got a couple $100 billion. He's not so poor and all this type of stuff. But one of the things, not just his money, the people at Tesla, because of the left-wing nut jobs here that have set all his cars on fire, and they're now saying, you can't even buy that stuff, it's so tainted. Yeah. There's people that lost their jobs, not because jobs were not needed. Their job, like the U.S. government, where they had entire divisions that duplicated other divisions, like the U.S. Peace Initiative Group and USAID did the same thing, just kind of secret slush fund money going out. There's people that were like doing this week, turning wrenches and operating computers and the robots and all that type, and supply chain management, and all those people who were working overtime trying to get stuff done. All of a sudden, they're telling their kids, sorry, we got to move back home or something like that. And only because Elon tried to help the U.S. government. Admittingly, he's a little autistic. Whatever the stories you think about Elon doesn't matter. A man went to... let me bring it to your level, Pedro. A man like... I'm not going to compare these two people. I'm just saying there's an analogy here. Jesus tried to help everybody, and they put him on a goddamn cross. And pardon my literal translation of that. And with Elon, he came in and tried to help everybody, thought he could do a job, and they burned his company down for it. It's the same thing. Thank you, Judas and Pontius Pilate. And it's an awful thing, and it's terrible. And then he works through that. He says, okay, I'm going to go back to work at my company. And then Congress says, thank you for doing that, Elon, but we're just going to spend an extra $3.7 trillion after all this time. Can you imagine sitting there, a person who's used to success? He's used to succeeding and not getting what he wants, but getting to his goal. And say, that's a goal. And to have someone just at the end of it go, see you later, chumbalone. So it's tough. It's tough to be out there doing that. And I have a first here, Pedro, and I'm going to switch to this just for a second before we get into an open discussion about this.
Hey, so I also want to add this in real quick. And so we've actually are up to 22 people. Thank you guys for coming in and watching. If you're new here, we are a live show. Basically, we go over stuff. current major news. We also go over things like crypto related as well as market related, and we also go over just kind of where I think the market is going to go and trend. And so I try to give you guys good data so that, in hopes that you can, if you decide to, again, not financial advice, but take advantage of that and make some income from it. If not, again, this is not financial advice. But again, we want to say thank you guys so much over there at Rumble. You guys are helping us out a lot. And I just want to say, guys, please, we're trying to build a network here. It's actually a news network. And from there, we want to be able to make sure that it's independent and free from any type of real influence from a financial
We want to be the influence. Pedro's the influence. Striking's the influence.
Yeah.
Not some crackpots in Washington, D.C.
that get told what to do and how to say things. Both parties can swing so widely from far left and far right, and people actually give them airtime. And it frustrates me. The man was trying to lower this debt. I'm going to point it right here.
Bring the debt up. Let's see that. For you new viewers out there, if you haven't been to usdebtclock.org, it has all the pertinent numbers you need to know. It even tells you how valuable you are as an American citizen.
Right here.
And you're getting less and less valuable, I might add.
I want to point this out right here. This is really wealth per citizen right here, how much you are worth. You're actually blocking it.
Oh, let me turn me off here.
Actually, no, you're good. No, you're good. Oh, all right. Okay, you're good. All right, guys. So if you guys check this out right here, this red line right here is literally how much you're worth. This includes all of the hidden wealth or asset that the American nation has. And so when you look at it and this is in real time, you are actually, this is what you're worth. This is the gold that we're mining for the actual US government that we pay into, right? And so what's frustrating is that as this grows, as this right here grows, and then this stays pretty much stagnant, that makes this right here worth less. Even though we're seeing it go up on a daily basis, it's actually going down because of the inflation, which is absolutely killing you. And I talk about this all the time, especially to our new viewers. If you're watching it, I want you guys to pay attention because it's really important, understanding how the U.S. private sector, these jobs right here, and the actual government jobs, right? And here it is, U.S. This is government employees and how much the government spends. This is almost directly related. This is almost directly related to that right there. And so it's important to understand how these numbers work. And it's not that hard. You just go through, if you understand basic economics, you'll see what I'm saying. You can go online, see how government spending versus their GDP, which is right here, and how much it costs for them to actually keep the government going. And this is where the biggest issue that we're having. And this is where it's missing. Like, and Elon Musk was really trying to make sure that it wasn't going to fall apart. I mean, that's how he was literally recruited by Lutnick, saying, hey, you find $1 trillion worth of savings, and I'll find $1 trillion worth of money coming in through tariffs and also GDP growth. And then with that, we should then be able to push down, again, this right here. This is U.S. debt.
And I might add, that's a great way to do it. You find these types of reductions, I'll find these types of increases, and it'll offset, and it'll be good, and it'll change the burden from U.S. taxing U.S. taxpayers' income from us, me and you, part of our monies, to other people that want to sell into the United States. It's a very good idea. Very good. But it needs to work.
Yeah, so it's just these little things that are really important to understand. And this is why we go over crypto, right? Like, and we've talked about how the crypto savings, like when you look at crypto, we can actually go back here with this site, and I really like this site. This is, again, usdebtclock.org.
I put the link to it in the comments of every platform that everyone's watching.
Okay. Please, go to it after. I want you to keep watching us, all right? So if you look at crypto, And you see the US dollar. So you can see right here on it, you can see right here, US dollar to crypto, as well as now. All right. So back in 2023, if you had crypto, okay, $1 of crypto, or you would need $9,000 or $9,300 worth of crypto to equal a $1 US dollar back in 2013. Okay. Now, this is where it's sitting. And at the beginning of the year, this was actually more or less. This was, I think it was like $6. But you can see here now, if you have $7 worth of crypto, it's equivalent to $1. $1. So you used to have $9,300 to equal $1 for crypto, or $1 of US dollar. Now all you need is $7 of crypto to literally equal $1 US dollar. And I think it's so important to understand that, because this is why we try to explain, if you understand what's happening from an inflation standpoint, it's really hard to inflate crypto, especially BTC, Ethereum. It's hard to do that because you need a thing called consensus. And so you need literally 51% of people to agree on something. I mean,
Yabba Dabba. Sorry, Pedro. Yabba Dabba Do. Thanks for commenting and joining the stream and commenting. He comments: the country has been broke for 20 years. That's why we're 36 trillion in debt. It's been longer than 36 years. It's been since the Clinton administration. That was the last time we had a balanced budget. If you can believe that, the Clinton administration ended in the 90s. Well, it actually ended in the year 2000, but besides the point.
Where are you coming from? How'd you find us, Yabba Dabba Do?
Yeah, Yabba Dabba. Let us know how I found you. Pixie's in the house. Thank you for joining us, Pixie. Pixie's been a guest on our show, and she will be again when she gets her health in order, and her streaming in order, and her house in order, and a bunch of things in order. Welcome, Pixie. Thanks for joining us on X. Really appreciate it. We've been talking, the theme of the show today for everyone that's joining us is a good one, and it was a little bit more talking for us than Pedro and I are used to. But I think here's the Elon tried is the topic of the day. He tried. But I'm going to expand on what you were saying, Pedro, about these numbers right behind me. Whereas the devaluation of the U.S. dollar, of your dollars in your pocket, they're worth less, and why we talk about crypto. Because crypto is a growing asset without an attached liability. And over the years, if you look at these numbers here, it went from equivalent of $9,000 to $7.
Actually, I'm gonna interrupt this here real quick because I want to show you. You can see up here if you look at my cursor, I'm gonna point this out here real quick. You can actually do a time machine right here. You can see this. Actually, I'm gonna make that bigger so you can sit there and see that. Boom, boom, and we're gonna do this here real quick so that you can see it. So this is right here. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second. So this right here, this spot right here is where we're gonna go back in time here, time machine, and we're gonna check out the actual. You can see the increase of crypto, and as the devaluation of the dollar back in 2020 that we saw during COVID, and you'll see what I mean in particular, right? And by looking at this right now, you can sit there and realize like, oh wow, and it's very clear. It's these are the numbers. So let me run these here real quick for you guys so you can sit there and see it. Boom, we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna go back in 2020 to see the actual numbers here, and you can see where is crypto, because I've been following this for a while. Did they take it down? I think they might have taken it down.
One of the best ways to explain it succinctly, Pedro, is that the US dollar compared to Bitcoin, and we'll use crypto in general, but Bitcoin's the dominant player in it. But since the year 2010 is when Bitcoin started. The US dollar has depreciated 99%. 99% against Bitcoin. And it's an unbelievable number. It means if you held, in theory, it's not real life, but in theory, if you had two $1 bills, one had a BTC sign on it, and one had a US dollar sign on it. The US dollar one would be worth 1 cent. 1 cent, and your Bitcoin would still be worth $1. Or the US dollar is worth $1, and the Bitcoin one is worth $99 or $100. However you want to look at it. And that's why we talk about it so much. And that's why we sit up here and try and educate you about it and say, you should be evaluating your own investment priorities here. And why we got so excited when the Trump administration came in and said, hey, we're going to be more pro-crypto because now mainstream American can get into it. Your retirement funds can get into it now. All this type of stuff because it's a growing asset. Doesn't matter the purpose. Forget the purpose of it for the first part of this talk. First part of this talk is that it's a growing asset that's over time has beat the US dollar by 99%. Think of that. The US dollar is devalued almost to zero compared to Bitcoin. And the second part of it is that it brings freedom to you to spend your money however you want. And as the government has more and more agencies and more people overseeing how you spend their money, you want to be able to do things without them involved. And that's another reason. The other reason, I mean, we can go on and on about crypto.
Well, I think one of the biggest key is that as we keep moving forward, governments around the world are going to keep distancing themselves away from us in relationship to our books. And if we want to keep the U.S. hegemon strong and wanting people to really invest in, we've got to be able to drop our U.S. debt, or we got to increase our GDP. Either or, we need one or the other. And if we can increase, and this is again for Elon Musk, right? And the reason why I say this, or tech giants, we know that robots are going to be kicking and doing people's jobs.
Go back to current on this so people see the real numbers.
All right. Here are the real numbers. I've actually been taking screenshots of the U.S. debt for years. No joke. I've got hundreds of them. They're in the reason why I'm bringing this up is that if we can if Elon and many of the other tech individuals, as well as create new manufacturing jobs and where we can actually sell things from inside out as exports, that brings in income, which also increases this right here. So it's important to understand that as this increases, if it increases at a much quicker pace than this, then we can actually see huge growth, right? This is where people say they're growing. Now, there's only really a few ways that we really can see something of that nature, and that's really with two things. One, tech. It's really important for tech, right, to really pick up. We already see that Amazon is really starting to pick up their system for automation of delivery with robots. That was just announced, I think today or the other day. And additionally to that, there's also a lot of robots that are correlated that are planning in the next 5 to 10 years to really pick up. And so if we can sell these entities to people outside the United States, then we will really start to be able to just help our growth and allow this price tag is right. Oh, okay. You're good. You're getting good at that. You can see right here that this at this level is what needs to be done, because if we can't, then it's look at
scary. This freaking number up there, guys. Look at it.
Yeah, it's got to happen. And so this is what Elon was trying to do. This is literally what it's trying to is cause this to go down by literally fighting this right here, government employees, through fluff, through repetitive jobs. In addition, he just got taken out, and it does break my heart to see that he was actually trying to help America. So my hope is that he doesn't give up on the people themselves, and that he can actually go through and create more industry, right? Like we're seeing Meta's really pushing hard on the VR and AR glasses. This is one that's really going to be big. Elon Musk, the ability for him to create a rocket systems that can actually go and mine. These are things they are actually talking about and want to do, right? We know, like Elon Musk has said, he wants to be able to go out and create a rocket mining system that goes out to the asteroid belt, finds raw materials, and be able to bring them back to Earth. And so these things are a big deal. And if he could really nail down these things, it could help out America by literally bringing it to the American people and us being basically the purveyor of production around the world. So these are things that are like, and I know this sounds absolutely far-reaching, and I'm getting feedback.
No, I just played the eagle scream when you said America, so I probably didn't feed that back to you.
So yeah, it's still there.
I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
That's all right. All right. So I think it's important to understand that as we, as an industry, like the old adage in which is said by John F. Kennedy, right? Ask not what you can do, or ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Meaning, look, the best way to really see America get strong again is create industry, to go out and start businesses, really work hard. And what we're seeing, at least with the Trump bill, that they're really laxing on overtime. They're really relaxing on tips, and they're trying to allow for pro-business to really develop, for small businesses to really grow, and that pro-business, well, hopefully, right? Because again, it's still got to pass certain things, and it's just it's scary, but at the same time, like, I do have some hope with it, but at the same time, it's just it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because Trump got into office literally because he campaigned on he's going to lower the debt. He's going to go through and push this stuff, that he's going to take out pork within these bills. He was, and it's just
very, very frustrating when it doesn't happen, Pedro, because it's frankly one of the reasons why I voted for him. I mean, first of all, the disaster of the last administration was one thing. You know, there's all sorts of disasters with that. But admittingly, the stock markets and everything did fine. You know, and everybody's saying, hey, the markets were great and better than blah, 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 all this type of stuff. One of the reasons why was they were doing the money printer back then, too, and that money has to go somewhere. It ends up in Wall Street. I've been a proponent of smaller government for a long time because of this. I was just trying to put together a poll to see if we could put a poll together, and we couldn't on Rumble. But which do you think we spend more on? And if any of you in the comments want to do this, just write the comment. Do we spend more money on our awesome military, the greatest military the world has ever seen, or just paying interest to other people so we can borrow money?
Yeah, I would rather see, or if anything, how about not just military, but just tech? Like, look, we need to create the first real ASI. If China gets it, then, and if China is the first one to develop it, do you understand then that a communism mindset will be propagated throughout the whole entire world? Because that ASI and AGI will push that out. And we saw it, or we understand how advertising works already, just simply on Elon. Now, this idea that we're seeing with just this bill, I'm just saying, I'd rather see money go into tech. I'd rather see a Manhattan type project for ASI to get there first than for it to go into paying people back or into the military. Because the reality is, he who gets to ASI first wins, hands down. He who gets to AGI wins, hands down. It's the idea of he who got back in the 1940s to the nuclear bomb wins, hands down. It's that level of severity here. And if you don't understand it, please go look up ASI, AGI, artificial intelligence. So, you know, that's my rant. I'm quiet now. By the way, you guys who are listening, see you guys. If you guys could, please log in, create a profile, make a comment. We'd love to have you. We're trying to really build this.
The dying cats.
Yep. Which really sounds like a pretty melodic sound. But if you guys could just log in, you don't need to buy. a subscription with Rumble. Just log in, create a profile, make a comment. Please hit the like and share button. That helps us out immensely. Please do it. That helps us out. We're a small independent news network, and we're just trying to really kind of build. And we appreciate every one of you guys. So please help us out if you don't mind, please.
All right, Pedro. I was we were right on the edge of being allowed to run another commercial, but no can do. I was going to use that as a segue to go back to leave our poor friend Elon off to a new chapter in his life of building more rockets and conquering the world's technology problems, and finish off the show with kind of talking about crypto again and what's up and what's not and stuff like that, or not just crypto, but the day's trading markets.
Yeah.
In case many of you haven't known, we've been watching Bitcoin do a little tankola today. Not too much, but it's down, but not.